What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody, to Sunday Night Live. We got a special edition here tonight. Not only are we here at Mike Sotero's setup, he's actually right
How
here
we doing?
next to me. We actually have an announcement towards the end that actually involves Mike Sotero. So um, we actually came all the way over here just to pretty much make the announcement here in person, you know. But not only that, but we also have Mateo in the mix here with us today. So I'm excited to get this charting session with each and every single one of you. This is the second week of August, which is just crazy to think about. Like just the second half of the year, we're pretty much into it. But before we go ahead and get started, share our screen and all that stuff, go ahead and type a two if you can go ahead and see and hear me very quick, because if not, you guys know me. I just get into it. I get into the charting sessions and everything, and I'm just gonna forget. Oh, well, I do have Mike Sotero here next to me confirming. So awesome, awesome. So the very first thing that we're gonna go ahead and cover, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the charts, seeing what we got for the outlook for this week, right? So for this week, what I'm looking at is for oil to continue coming down. So you guys seen on the daily time frame pretty much what we're looking at right here. I am looking for this wick to pretty much get filled and for us to continue down the sells right here. And I'm not looking to buy US oil until we pretty much get into the 70s right here. Now, when it comes down to commodities, on the long term, I do want to go ahead and shift the topic a little bit from trading into investing. You guys will see me alternate between both topics. But when it comes down to the investing side of everything, I would recommend everybody to go ahead and start to stack up on commodities. As far as a long-term investment, the last time that I went ahead and talked about this, as far as gold and silver and stacking up on this, we were stacking on silver like literally in the 20s, right? So last time I talked about investing into these assets, we were like right here. Right now, what we're starting to see on the bigger time frame, if you guys notice, go ahead and I challenge everybody to go to the 4 hour time frame and tell me what you guys see. For those of you that have been studying, this is pretty much where I'm putting you guys to the test. Let me know. What do you guys see on the 4 hour time frame? Let's see what you guys are seeing. What are you guys seeing right here on this 4 hour time frame? What are we starting to pretty much start to point out here? Even a little bit more evident if you guys see it more on the 1 hour time frame, right? So what we're starting to see is starting to see early signs of accumulation start to happen, right? If you guys are studying the courses that we have here within Zenrine, you guys been tuning into the live sessions, then you guys know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Now, whenever we start to get signs of this is good signs, and especially as well if you start to read off the volume. We're starting to have institutional buyers inside of these commodities, right? So what I'm looking at for a long term, I am looking for buys just for continuations. So when it comes down to silver, I am looking to target this imbalance right here, right at 60. So right at the whole level, I am looking at silver to come down and then fill this imbalance and for us to pretty much continue moving higher, just on a leverage perspective. But as well, just in an investing perspective, I would also start to stack up on this asset right here, right around 60. And on the long term, same thing. I would want to take this upwards to the 120s once again. Everybody that's been invested in silver, I know that it was a hyped up asset. And I always say um, you always sell the hype, and one of the things that we had seen, whenever silver hit the 120s and formed new highs, we started to see that the hype run, people started buying silver and gold off of Costco, started to see people off Facebook, purchasing silver and gold at all-time highs. Now, all those people have been holding on to drawdown since the beginning of the year, right? Now, is this going to be a potential move that is going to happen like just overnight? No, but we are getting a 50% discount when it comes down to this. So it's the same a logical thinking that you guys would see when you guys looking at when you guys are looking at Bitcoin and you're looking at your price. If you're looking at Bitcoin the correct way, then you're looking at Bitcoin at snagging it for half the price, that everybody else got it at the highs, right? So I want each and every single one of you to think that you guys can start looking into things like even I know that we talk about Roth IRAs, Patrick Kinney and Mike Sotero always talk about it. I would challenge you guys to start looking into silver IRAs, right? Silver IRAs, you guys can go ahead and start to stack that and stack up on the asset and not only get paid out each and every single year, right, from the IRA itself, but you guys are also getting appreciated value over the asset. So that's something that I'm vested in, but I wanted to just shift the topic a little bit and get into investment. But this is what I'm looking at as far as the leverage perspective. Now, as far as the leverage perspective, when it comes down to gold, I do have two areas that I have in mind. I have one immediate zone that I am looking at 42.10 to 42.04. For those of you that are going to Portugal, you guys have seen that I pretty much been sending out more plays in there. I kept my word when I said it. Like for everybody that's going to Portugal, pretty much I'm going ham on the charts for each and every single one of you and getting each and every single one of you setups, but as well as we're taking Zinra ideas together and all with hopes to go ahead and compound our account, to go ahead and feed each and every single one of you, get the trips paid for, utilizing some of the trading profits, right? But what I'm looking at for gold right here, I have these two areas that we can pretty much work out of right here. So we have one at 42.10 and then I have one at 41.80, right? So same TP, I would pretty much take this to the highs. So we have one at a 1 to 9, one to a 1 to 13. On silver, pretty much I have a 1 to 7 right here. On NASDAQ, on the other hand, I am looking at NASDAQ to continue moving higher. I do have these potential buys right here in this area at 29,611, really at that whole level at 29,600, just to get an imbalance fill here in this area and to continue moving forward. This is just a 1 to 3, 1 to almost 4 setup. So it's just a quick intraday setup, for a lot of you future traders as well. You guys can pretty much take the same setup. And that's really what I got for this week as far as the setups. I know with Bitcoin as well, I have just still some buys that are pretty much running that we pretty much called out here in this area. We called out the buys at 64, 160, and we still have the TP set at 65 to 66K. So we're still hoping that we can get up here. That way we can get the full 1 to 4, almost 1 to 5 here in this. But I still have a lower buy area for Bitcoin. More in the long-term perspective, I still have 60,000. But I know that Mike Sotero is going to go ahead and talk about, crypto on the session. So we'll go ahead and tune into that, and see what Mike has for us. But I do want to go ahead and step away from the spotlight. I know that I've been snagging it for quite a while, but I do want to go ahead and bring up a special person, somebody that's been running it up on the other side of the pond. One of the people that brought in Powerhouse UK is staying in Tennessee. You guys see him in the chats. A very consistent student and has not only created results for himself, but at this point has been a selfless leader and helped other people create results within his own community that he's embarking here in the UK and as well in Tennessee. So I'll go ahead and toss it over to you, Mateo. How you feeling, brother?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be with you guys tonight. And Junior gave me that swanky intro. I didn't need all that, but it's good to hear it from you. Um, I'll jump on the charts real quick. I'm not the person that's here to give you anything else other than chart work. I give you maybe some leadership talk, but we're not here for that at all. But as most of you guys know, I'm very much a gold trader, although for the past 2 weeks, I've kind of done a little bit of reflection on my own strategy, and then the strategy I use, which is based off of Valentino's, if you guys know him. But I've been testing it out, forward testing it and back testing it on other assets, and I see it works all over the place. But we're going to start with gold here. Um, I usually trade 1 hour ranges, so this is the 1 hour range I'm looking at right here. And for me, I want this trap candle to get mitigated to some level. Now, as you can see on my fib, I have the 61.8% is green. I would love for this to get taken, us come into here and then bounce up. Now, I am very aware that this bounce may not give us much, just because if we look at the range as a whole, it's very bullish. And I feel like we really need to come back a lot more than just this. So if I took this setup, it would be very much like very quick, like 1 to 2, 1 to 3. My main area, what I'm looking at, 4 hour and even, hold on, let me go ahead and hide all of this because it's messing with me real quick. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So kind of what I'm looking at here, we'll even hide these. 4 hour on the 16 hour as well. There's a trap candle here. Egg. So it technically gave us a structure point here on the 4 hour. I'd like to see this get swept. And obviously, I think Junior gave us, I think I spot it already. But I think Junior gave us something. There's one around here, and then there's one around 211 as well. But yeah, for me, the main zone I'd be looking at is if we take from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. Awesome. Yeah, I'd be looking at anything under 50%. So I would like the lower zone to get taken as well. I like this a lot for long-term buys to keep structure. So something like this. I think it's the exact same thing kind of Junior kind of had. So yeah, this is what I like long term, but I do, based off the strategy, I do want to see us bounce up from this trap candle at least, even if it's just a small move. Moving on to other stuff. Hold on, let me get my. I really have been liking GBP USD recently. And if we look at the 4 hour, um, it's it's kind of doing it's doing a lot here. I kind of stayed away from it as well, kind of like gold, because it's really, for me, it's just breaking. So like it kind of trended up, now it's trending back down, now it's trending back up, and it's kind of sitting here. Um, I could easily see this come lower from where it's at. I do like the fact that we had this large push up into this area. A lot of this liquidity got swept right in here, swept it, distributed a little bit, retested the area. I just don't know if I like this coming higher. Like overall, if we look on the daily, it's pretty sure it's still, yeah, it's still just in consolidation. But yeah, as we've kind of seen, we broke structure here. This would be a lower high. This would be a lower low. I truly believe that we could still see this come down. I'm really not really going to mark this up because it doesn't look too clean to me, and I'm not going to give you guys anything I wouldn't take. But I could see this coming lower. As far as Euro USD goes, I'd assume the chart looks relatively the same. Yeah, yeah, I'd be looking at the same thing on Euro USD. This actually looks a little cleaner on the daily. Um, I could see us inside this area here. Could see us get into here and then come down from there, especially since it reacted out of this area because of institutional candle the last time. Um, there's so I'd be looking at this as well, maybe something to consider, just accumulate in this area and then come down from here. Um, Other than that, I think I actually had a plan for this session is I wasn't really going to go over too much. I knew Junior was going to do some chart work, and I'm also not, I don't know what's happening here. I'm also not the person like I'm very honest with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and act like I trade a bunch of stuff. I really only trade gold, and that's what works for me. So I'm not really used to marking up other pairs. I'm not going to sit here and mark them up. But I did want to talk to you guys more about like something I've been going through recently is just um, optimizing your strategy. So like for me, it was a sense of strategy performed really well in the market and everything. And then when gold started doing what it was doing here, I honestly, after like we got this push and this push down, like right in here, trading this was terrible. Like I tried trading this and it just did not go well. And if you know my strategy at all, it comes down to trend. And this, as you can see on the daily, was not trend. Like it wasn't trending at all. And so for me to trade, I need not even a clear trend, but just some kind of trend. And this was not it. And so I actually had talked with Gil and stuff, and I decided to take the last like week and a half off. Went back through education and everything and see how I could optimize my strategy for that time when we did start trending, how I could make the most out of the markets, and went back through my journal entries and everything and found a lot of ways to optimize my strategy. And now, since we got this break of structure out on pretty much a lot of time frames, broke structure on like the 1 hour, 4 hour, and up to the daily. Now that we're trending again, I'm ready to get back in the market and I understand what I'm doing. So I really believe, and I'm going to start doing this, and you guys can either listen or not. But I think at least one thing for me is every month you should be going back through your, first off, you should be journaling. I know there's some people that definitely still aren't. Um, but even after that, I think every week you should be looking back at your journal entries. Every month you should be seeing your 4 week data pool. What needs to change? So what was good, what was bad, how can we enhance this to get better results? And then after every quarter, I truly believe, and this is what I'm going to start doing, is go back through the education where your strategy comes from. So for me, it's Valentino. So every at the end of every quarter, I'm going to go back through that and just to keep my brain fresh and everything like that. And I found that it's worked, and I'm gaining confidence again and everything. So that's kind of where I'm at. Um, if Yeah, but for you guys, I'll give you this last thing. I'll keep this marked up here for you guys. But this is what I'm looking at. This zone for a small buy, and then I want to see all this liquidity here get swept. We'll probably start a counter trend. So we'll probably do this, break structure here, do this, and then come into here and then continue to buy up from there. So it's something you'd be able to catch both sides. And I know I've talked about this, Junior's talked about this ping, we call it different things, but he calls it ping ponging. It's like I can easily catch a buy to here, to sell to here, to buy after this. So if you start understanding the way the market moves and how it's going to move, you can easily start catching ping pongs, buy to sells. And that's what I do on a gold a lot. And so that's what I'd be looking for is I'd be looking for buys and sells all out all through this, but overall, I am very bullish on this asset. So I'd love to see gold keep going higher eventually. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. But
No, I mean that was amazing. I don't think many of you quite understand as well. Like, Mateo has only been in the community like almost about a year. You're going on a year almost, right?
I'm going on 7 months. I started
Yeah,
in January.
7 months. So it's like, think about it, guys. Like 7 months inside the community, and he's already done what he's done. But I think one of the things that is great about you that you mentioned is that whenever you're having like, those conflicted thoughts, or even like when you're having like losing streak, you take time to reevaluate and then you come back to where it is that you pretty much learned from. And that is a proper formatting to just everybody. I mean, honestly, that's even something that I do. It's something that you never really stop doing, regardless of how many years you've been inside the industry, how long you've been learning. Like at all times, you have to go back to the basics. And the further away that you get back from the basics, the more that you'll realize that you actually need it. And that's a key thing to have. You guys are listening to Mateo only being 7 months in, but you guys will see him later on here in Powerhouse, like being a couple years in. I know he's going places, and I know he's going to be one of the most profitable traders that we have here within the community. And I know by that point, bro, like, we're going to do an interview together, and then I'm going to be asking you those questions, being going to be asking you, oh, yo, what were one of the things that, is to more tribute to your success. And you're gonna say the same thing that you're saying right now. Like, yo, like it's just getting back into really what's the foundation, the pillars that got me my success to begin with, and not forgetting that. Because I feel like a lot of times, a lot of traders that I've seen, including myself, like you make some money inside of the markets and then you forget, you're just like, like I'm too good to backtest, or I'm too good to journal, like, like I made like a couple $100, I made a couple thousand, I made like some 5 figures. But at the end of the day, if you really like put things into perspective, like like that isn't shit compared to really what the market really creates on the second basis. So like little small specimens of the market, and whatever we tend to do is just still small, and we need to always reevaluate that, and always go back into everything, But one of the things I wanted to cover, since I seen that a couple of you were kind of confused into what I was covering inside the session, when it comes down to the IRAs and as well with the investing side of everything. And this is a good thing because like this session is going to be a little bit different than most sessions. I know that most of you come in and you're like, yo, like I'm just looking for the signals, blah blah blah. But that's really what keeps a lot of traders stuck. A lot of traders, actually, statistically speaking, 97% of traders will never outperform a traditional investment. And that I can put that on everything. Like I mean, Mike Sotero is like literally right next to me. 97% of traders will never outperform a traditional investment, because majority of traders to begin with are unprofitable, right? And then the ones that are profitable are barely profitable. When you have people that are just into traditional investments and are just buying the stuff that, you could say is a lot of people think, no, like that's boring money, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, guys, like a lot of times the boring money is going to be the one that's going to take you to places that you never really thought, right? And for a lot of you that you guys are in your early 20s, or your late 20s, whatever it is, I'm going to have that serious talk with you that, like nobody really had with you. You got to start investing into things that are going to be here in the next 5 to 10 years, the next 10, 15, 20 years, the assets. And one of the things that I've always talked about is silver, Like we were talking about this for years, guys. I mean, we're buying these 10-ounce bars at 200 bucks. Look at the price today. You guys are seeing it right here. We're buying these 10-ounce bars at 270, 300 bucks. And now we're looking at it today and we're at $723, right? So what I'm looking at these silver bars to go up to is definitely back up to $1,200 for 10-ounce bars. So yes, you can go on AP Mex and buy your bars. That's where I bought mine. That's where I've always done everything. You can also go to places to go ahead and exchange all this. But if you're brand new into the space, I would definitely recommend, starting off at least, stacking up with the 1 ounce bars, the 10 ounce, even the 100 ounce. Start stacking those up, and then once you want to go ahead and get into the bigger leagues, I always say, then start with an IRA. You can go ahead and take that same physical asset and go ahead and transfer it as well into a silver IRA. So the same way that we look into, say, a Roth IRA, there's silver IRAs as well, and they have even a better potential than things like investing into the Dow Jones. Like for example, you have like literally like the financials right here. What you would have gotten, investing into the Dow Jones, investing into just simply investing into the Dow Jones over the past couple of years would have outperformed just investing into real estate. But investing into gold would have outperformed literally just both of them, and that's something that a lot of people don't really talk about. But it's something that I'm advising each and every single one of you is to start looking into. Don't just save your money. I always say save money saved is money lost. Your dollar is literally depreciating each and every single year. So you have to put it into an asset that is growing year by year, but as well as the demand is continually growing. And as we evolve, as like we move into an era where there's more robots, and more of these things that are going to be automated. You have to ask yourself, what is going to be, what's the main component inside of this technology? What's the main component inside of these robots that they're going to be utilizing in the future? And a lot of those same components that they're utilizing, even in the phones that we have, even in the laptops that you guys are using to even watch this call to begin with, is silver. So you guys are already buying the liabilities that have that asset into them. You might as well start buying the asset itself, and for a lot of you that have those, skeptical people, I know a lot of you have skeptical parents, say, or you have skeptical uncles be like, no, I don't want to invest because I want to invest into things that are tangible, things that I can feel. Put them on silver, put them investing into silver. I would say gold, but Gold is at a much more higher price. You guys are going to get a better return just investing into silver on the long term. And you guys can see it clear as day if we look at the monthly time frame. You guys are seeing silver literally at 60. I'm telling you guys to wait to buy it at $60 flat. You know, the highs were at 120. We look at gold. We're currently at 4,300. The highs were at 5,500. So obviously the percentage in return is much more better with silver. But that's going to be my recommendation that I have for you guys here today is just to kind of like look at things in a macro perspective. I know for a lot of you that are futures traders, you guys are used to seeing things on the micro perspective, just intraday trading or scalping. But you always have to think where you're going to park that money once you get your first payout, you know, and a lot of people don't really think like that. And because people never really think like that and don't think ahead, which is the reason that people keep failing, because most people's goal is just to get a single payout. But if you actually are a person that's going to be consistently profitable, you're already planning ahead. You're like, okay, like what am I going to do when I get my first couple payouts? You know, how am I preparing myself? Do I already have my own LLC? Do I have my business bank account to go ahead and pay myself out with? Do I have, investments set up? And those are the things that we're going to go ahead and talk about here tomorrow, right? So tomorrow, myself and Mike Sotero, that is sitting right next to me, literally flew into Miami just to pretty much have this call with him, right? But um, this call tomorrow, he's pretty much going to go ahead and break that down for each and every single one of you that are intraday traders that are getting into futures. You know, so for a lot of you that are looking for this year to go ahead and be your most successful year, and get into as well in a different market, when it comes down to options trading, and maybe you're brand new into it. This is something that I recommend you guys hopping onto. So tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and break this down inside of a call just for each and every single one of you. I'll go ahead and drop the times and everything within the Discord chat and everything. But that's all as far as the announcements that I have for each and every single one of you today. I'm grateful that all of you hopped on. I hope that each and every single one of you have an amazing rest of your week. And lastly, Mateo, do you have anything to finish us off with?
No, I'll let everyone go. I know it's a Sunday night. I'm not gonna bother you, but one thing I will say is like I'm here for everyone. So like I know I haven't been here, and like Junior was saying, I know I haven't been here long. Like most of you guys watching this have probably been here much longer than I have, but I am here and I am wanting to help grow like everything we have here, and I'm very yeah, I'm just here. So my Instagram's literally on my Zoom. You can go follow me on Instagram. Talk to me. I'm also in the Discord chat and the freshman chat. So any questions you have, please reach out and I'd be willing to help.
Let's get it. Let's get it, guys.